Hello, friends. You need to hear this. It's a story that will touch your heart in just a few seconds.
On an October night, heavy with silence, I finally realized I could no longer pretend. It wasn't a scream or harsh word. A quiet filled the space where something inside breaks and no one else can hear. He sat beside me on the sofa, watching TV, but not really seeing it. His fingers brushed mine, not entirely by chance. For the first time in years, I didn't pull away. Instead, warmth spread through me, a feeling more frightening than any spoken truth. My name is Isabella. I'm 42, a mother of two, and a widow since I was 34. My husband died in a car accident when our son Lucas was 7 and our daughter Lucia barely 3. Since then, I've been both mother and father, cook and protector, carrying his absence with every breath. I loved my children fiercely. They are my reason for living. Yet now, I wondered if I loved them too much, or in a way I shouldn't have. Lucas is now 21. Gone is the little boy who ran barefoot through the house in oversized t-shirts, hugging me from behind as I made breakfast, whispering, "Mom, you're the best." He's grown tall and broad-shouldered, with eyes that no longer look away. A few months ago, I noticed something different. I was in the kitchen, wrapped in a robe, gathering clothes, when he walked in without knocking, a book under his arm. He stopped and stared, not like a son looks at his mother, but like a man looks at a woman. No smile or blush, just deep, searching eyes, as if he'd been looking his entire life and finally found what he was seeking. I said nothing. He said nothing and left. That night, lying in bed, I still felt his gaze lingering on my skin. I began watching him, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't stop. How he looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching, how he stood too close in the hallway, how his hand brushed my waist at dinner, how his breath hitched. I told myself it was just adolescence, grief, loneliness. I blamed myself for raising him alone, but the truth was harsher. He was looking at me not as his mother, but as a woman he loved, and I let him. I hadn't planned it. I wanted no part of it. One afternoon, while washing dishes, he came up behind me. He didn't hug or touch me, just rested his forehead on my shoulder, his warm breast on my neck. I froze, feeling every heartbeat, every wave of heat. My mind screamed, "This is wrong, immoral, sinful." Yet my body betrayed me. It wanted him to stay. That night, sleep wouldn't come. My hands pressed to my chest as if I could hold back the feelings rising inside. I thought of my husband, his laughter, the scent of tobacco and coffee on his skin, the way he kissed my forehead before work. Would he have known? Forgiven me? Understood? I didn't know. But I knew this: every moment with Lucas became a silent storm, an internal war where love born from protection turned dangerous, intimate, real. It began with small gestures: coffee in bed, a blanket when I fell asleep on the couch, a whispered, "Mom, you look beautiful today." He said "Mom," not affectionately, but as a sacred name, a confession. I smiled faintly, whispered hollow words back, but inside I screamed, "Stop! You can't let this happen." Then came the day everything changed. It was a rainy Sunday. The house was empty. Lucia was at college. I was in the garden gathering fallen leaves when he silently appeared behind me, took off his jacket, and draped it over my shoulders. His fingers brushed my neck like lightning. I turned, looking into his eyes, no doubt, no confusion, only the weight of his decision. "Mom," he whispered, voice shaking, I need you to tell me something." Rain slid down his face, but those wet eyes weren't from weather. They were tears. "What is it?" I asked. "Have you noticed?" I couldn't speak. "Have you noticed I'm not your son anymore?" The air felt fragile, every breath sharp. He pressed on. "Don't say this is wrong, a mistake, or that I can't. Just tell me, do you feel it too?" Inside me, everything shattered. I felt stripped bare, lost in a fog of pain and desire. "No," I whispered, "you can't say this." "Yes, I must," he said. "If I don't now, I'll die. Not from illness or accident, but from being near you and not touching you. It kills me more each day." I sank to my knees, kneading the earth beneath me. "It's impossible," I said, voice shaking. "No, it's not. It's impossible for you, for me, but it's the only thing real." He knelt before me, rain and tears mingling on our faces. "What do you want from me?" I asked, broken. "I don't want you to be my mother. I want you to be the woman who taught me to love, held me when I cried for Dad, sang me to sleep, told me I was brave. She hasn't disappeared. She's grown too large to belong just to me." I covered my face, hiding tears I couldn't bear him to see. I wanted it too, not as a mother or widow, but as a woman who'd loved deeply and been alone too long, now feeling her soul beat again. Not from memory or longing, but from him, his eyes, his voice. "Go," I whispered. "No," he said fiercely. "If you send me away, do it from fear, not guilt, from what you feel." Afraid he felt the same, I walked away, feeling his gaze split me in two. That night, clutching myself on the bed's edge, I thought of every hug, every kiss on his forehead, every morning watching him sleep. Was it love or something else? Had I turned my need to care into love he believed in? Had I deceived myself, too? I left a note saying I was visiting my aunt, escaping him, escaping myself, the woman who hadn't wanted to be strong in nearly 10 years. 3 days passed without a word. Returning home, the house was silent and orderly. On the table lay an envelope with my name in his handwriting. Inside was not a note, but a 10-page letter stained with tears. I hid in the bathtub, water running to muffle my sobs, and read, "Mom, if you're reading this, it's because I couldn't say it to your face, not because I fear you, but because I fear what I might do if I see you and can't touch you. I know it's wrong, illegal, forbidden, a crime against all we believe, but I can't stop loving you. I see you awake in your robe, hair loose, staring out the window. I know you think of me too. Don't deny it. If you do, you kill the part of yourself still alive. I'm not asking for love back. Just let me stay, not as a child, but as a man who loves, worships, and needs you. If this is too much, tell me honestly, and I leave forever. But if you can't lie, please let me stay, not as your son or lover, but as the one who loves you most. If you love me too, ask me to stay." I dropped a letter and collapsed, crying not from shame or guilt, but because for the first time, someone truly saw me, not as mother or widow, but as a woman. I saw him too, not as my son, but as a man. And I loved him, not out of duty or habit, but because he was why I still lived. And now he asked me to choose, live fully or merely survive. That night, I left his door open and the light on. I waited, hearing slow, hesitant footsteps. The door opened, and there he was, wearing the old shirt, eyes swollen, hands trembling. Without a word, he knelt, resting his forehead on my knees, whispering, "If you hate me, say it, please." Instead, I pulled him close, holding him like never before, not as mother or woman, but as someone who lost everything and finally found something worth losing. Words no longer mattered. What mattered was he was here, and I would never let go. Never again.